Welcome back to the next episode of rebuilding a surprise Mini for my daughter. And yes, I've forgotten my microphone and I'm just going to record this and see how it goes, Mass, and tell me if I need to redo it. But it is quiet down here today. Everyone seems to have gone for the evening, which is nice, so we can crack on. So I need to think about headlining for the BMW Mini sunroof. I've got some 5mm plywood and some stretch carpet, which I think we can do something with. We've got lots of little bits to do. We're still waiting on all the brake bits, so hopefully they'll turn up during the video. And yeah, let's have a quick look at the filler neck and I'll show you what I've done. Okie dokie. So what you get with this kit is, I guess this is a generic fuel cap, but what they've done is they've made got an adapter machined up, which goes over this tank here, and it's supposed to go on a bit further. I think on other tanks it's technically designed for an MPI because it's got a very short neck, as you can see. Yeah, it's meant to go over, and you're supposed to glue that on. So I'm a little bit worried about then trying to get that through the grommet and things like that, which obviously you could just break the glue off anyway. But what I've gone and done is printed a little adapter, which is the same size as the neck. It's got some countersunk holes in it. I might slightly change the design of this adapter slightly to give it a bit more gluing edge, and then we glue that to this with some epoxy. Then we can screw that to the lid, and this can then be screwed on, or it can be sort of screwed on after. The key thing in all this is getting this correct, because once you've tightened this up, this determines where the location is. So let's see if we've got any PKs, the little screws to do this. If not, we'll have to order some up and move on to something else. Okay, quick update on the little fly through of my real life. Yeah, we thought let's not reinvent the wheel by making our own headline that you might have just seen. I started cutting up a bit of 5mm ply, just as a template, to be honest, to start with, to get an idea of things. Went home, had a quick look on Facebook, and I saw some guy selling a BMW R53 Mini R53 headlining that had been recovered in black anyway, which is fine, and we were going to cut it up anyway. We got 4-way stretch carpet, and it come with the trims as well that go round that join the headlining to the sunroof as well. A couple of bags of bits and bobs. Let's see if we can use that. I think that's yeah. I think we'll use a template now to maybe trim this down, and yeah, because that comes with a switch holder down there. It goes in. Well, it's actually in that bit there. Whether we can keep the clock or not, that'd be really cool if we could keep the clock. I don't know how far forward we go, but we'll just have to see. Yeah, this is a Saturday. Only just got down the unit. It's about 2:30 now. I've got about 2 hours to get on and do stuff. The trouble with keeping a secret from your daughter is it's very hard to then try and find time away from her. So she wanted to walk the dog and that, so yeah, we'll do that in the morning. She took me on a very long walk, which now has broken me. This body is not designed for walking. Alison will put a comment in there to say she agrees. And yeah, so I'm a bit knackered, even though we did stop at the pub on the way home. So thank you very much, Deanna. That mostly didn't really help me, actually, in hindsight. But we're down here. So before we get distracted by badges and templates that we're building there and making, we need to crack on. We got the brake master, and we bought some flexi hoses as well, because I think I told you in the last catch up of the video, yeah, maybe we should have done that, and we have done. So let's get changed into dirty clothes, get the shutter door up, and let's see if we can get 2 productive hours of changing brake lines and a brake master and see if we get anywhere close to being able to bleed the brakes. Let's do that. Okay, master cylinder. I think the trickiest part of doing this is that we've left it full of fluid. Well, there's our Goodridge. Look at that, quality Goodridge hoses. Do those in a minute. And yeah, this is our new master, which, because it's a servo based one, I think you don't have to do too much. I think it's just basically 2 bolts and there's no clevis pin or anything silly like that. That's already done in the pedals. Yeah, hopefully it's the right one. Green tag, even though this one doesn't have a green tag, but this one was sold as a green tag. Anyway, 2 1/2-inch spanner nuts, 7/16 spanners for the brake lines, and yeah. Okay, new master in. That was fairly simple. Put a little bit of copper grease on that just to make it come off easier next time, but it wasn't too bad to come off. I did notice that my connections were very loose on the previous one, so that may have well caused a problem trying to bleed it. But I also, once I took it off, I was expecting fluid to come out, but maybe it only comes out when you actually push the cylinder. So anyway, maybe that was a problem and it just did. But anyway, it's nice to have a nice new one on there. I'll just pop some orange indicator bulbs in there. I can't get the indicators to work or the hazards to work just at the moment. So something's fundamentally not working around that area. I'm sure it's fairly simple to fix, but now let's try and see if we can fit some of these flexi hoses. Love those jobs. Yeah, braided hoses fitted. I did the steering rack gaiters at the same time. Still need to put clips on those. I tried a little bit of bleeding, but nothing really. I need to get a longer stick for the back to do the pedal, or get a second assistant down. But before I go berserk, I must do the rear hoses as well, otherwise I'm going to get lazy and not do them. Basically what I've done, I've got, let me go get them, off AliExpress. I've got myself some sort of Range Rover-y type letters, and so yeah, both going to say front at the front and the back say Mini, and I 3D printed myself a template which is going to help me align on the back here, centre, as well as the height, and also get the letters right, and it's going to clip over the top. I might just reprint this one slightly, might put a bit of heat on them just to curve it as well afterwards, but yeah, I'll then be able to place the letters in nice and snugly. That's the idea, and I should get them quite lined up. But yeah, I just need to tweak this print slightly, but not much, but I could get away with it if I wanted to, but yeah, might as well fire off another print. Alright, we're heading home. Oh, look, shiny, even with the dust on. Microphone clip's broken. We're back for another few hours. Okay, before we get too dirty, I'm going to try my 3D printed template and put the badge on, and then we get on with the brake pipes. Yeah, so I 3D printed this because I've already shown you the Range Rover type, Evoque type letters that I've got off AliExpress, and I wanted to make sure I get them perfectly straight, so I thought I'd come up with this because I've seen that's what they do in the factories. They have some sort of little thing that clips on. So yeah, we'll give this a bit of a clean. The dust in this place, we need to get ourselves a cover. Well, I've got one, but what I might do is just give that a bit of a polish just to clean that up. Okay, let's try again. Clean that up a little bit. I'll put a little bit of masking tape on the back. Oh, guy cutting next door. Hopefully you can hear me still. So this feeds under the handle to align it left and right. And then that clips over and that sits on the bonnet line, on the lid line. What I might do is just put a bit of tape on it just to secure it on there, just so it doesn't move. Make sure it's held down. Obviously they don't do this in the factory, but just to keep things from moving. One last look. I think that looks good. Grab our first letter. Make sure it goes in. Yeah. Goes in. Can't get it out now. Yes, careful, Matthew, now. At least we know that's snug. Ah, that's on. The problem I just thought is, can I get the thing off again without pulling all the letters off? We shall see, won't we? In principle, it was a good idea. Yes. I like that. I like that. I like that. Maybe the letters could have been a fraction smaller, just to... But it is what it is. You can only get certain sizes on AliExpress. Nice. We need to get on and do the brake hoses. That's got to be done. So, yeah, time lapse for a bit. Brake hoses get dirty, and see how we're doing. Oh, I'm so tired. Sit rep. Hold my mic like the old bloggers do. Got the two rear hoses done. Man grinding next door. Bang holiday Monday. Don't have to be working. Anyway, yeah, got the two rear hoses fitted. Bit of a pain, but got the job done. Have to remove the fuel pump on the passenger side to try and get to it. And yeah, and so we filled up with some more fluid, and we were getting a leak from the union that goes on the driver's side, and there's like a banjo type union that goes through, and it's leaking. I removed it, changed a couple of washers. It's still leaking. It looks like it's leaking from the bottom. So on and off a few times, wasted loads of brake fluid. It's all going over the subframe. Successful. Welcome back again to another part of this video. As we drove home from last time, when we had problems with leaky brakes around that union where the banjo is, it twigged. I had a bit of an issue on the passenger side, and the brake fitting went in quite far. I was like, that's not quite right. And I should have stopped then. I should have thought, hang on a minute, why is it not right? There's something wrong here. Then, as if anyone else is now screaming at the video for the last 10 minutes, the front hoses are paired, sided, and I've put them on the wrong side. One's got a deeper hole in it for the union and the banjo to go in, where the other side hasn't, and it's actually got a slightly different fitting on the bottom of the seat. Yeah, so after a lot of brake fluid and wasting time with copper washers, luckily I was nearly buying some bits, and then I twigged, and I was like, oh, that must be it. So I'm 99% sure it, so that's what we've got to do. We've got to swap those pipes over again. Then hopefully all the brakes will now work. But before we do that, we've got to move the camper van out, because we're going away for a few days in the camper, and the daughter in her camper, and yeah, I need to get that out of here and stop using it as a shelf in the changing rooms. So we get that done, then we get back on, get changed dirty clothes, bought myself a bacon sarnie down for dinner because we're down here for a few hours because we've got to wait till about 11 o'clock before I then got to go collect my daughter from the airport because she's been to Scotland for a few days flying. All right, enough rambling. Let's get on. Not quite sure if you can read that or not. I don't know what OSF fitting means. I wonder if it's meant to go on the offside front. Read the labels if you ever get them. I've got to figure out how I'll stop making these mistakes sometimes. At least this mistake hasn't cost me money, it's just cost me time. But anyway, let's put it back on the right side and forget this ever happened. And I wasn't using an impact gun to take off brake fittings, honest. Okay, sit rep. We've got the pipes swapped over. Putting the brake fittings on seemed to be a pain in the arse compared to all the other times they just got on. We finally got there, and then the socket got stuck again on that one. So we got them bled, and we got the fronts bled as well. I haven't bled the backs yet. I wanted to adjust them, but I can't find my brake adjusting spanner, surprisingly. We used it on the Scamp last, so I'm sure it's in the workshop somewhere. So yes, nice to have a bit of space, even though I should have a lot of space. I should just tidy up really, but I'm sorry for everybody that's shouted at me for tidy up, and I'm not going to make a promise I will do. I should do. Shouldn't I, Madison? Anyway, this video is getting quite long, I think, already. Whew. Alright, we're going to pivot for a little bit. We're going to do a bit of sunroof work, I think. Now we've got a bit of space. So I started making one the other week. I think I time-lapsed a little bit of it. Cut a bit of this, more of a template, I think, in anything. So I was going to cut, you can see there, the front section of the sunroof. And yeah, then I thought this isn't going well. There's a lot of stuff, and I think I'm missing some trim as well that goes around the sunroof, which I think I showed you the other day. So there is some trim, and so I picked up 30-40 quid off Facebook, somebody that had already retrimmed theirs black, which, you know, we can redo anyway, but it was all out of the car. And he had the trim sections as well, and he's got all the lights and everything to go in that as well. How much of the things we can use at the front and back, I don't know. But yeah, so that's that. So we're going to basically try and trim that down to fit and see how it goes. The other thing we've got is on the BMW Mini, you've got drain pipes. There you see, there's one in each corner. And I think they run down the corners and go down. I think we've got enough space to do that. Oh, a bit of this foam here. Let's get rid of that stuff. Never have that stuff in there. So I 3D printed out of Pettinger a little adapter to go on there. I might reprint it a bit tighter, but the other one's at the back a bit tighter, so maybe tolerances. And what I might do is put a bit of heat shrink over the whole lot of that as well, because sometimes 3D printed stuff isn't that watertight. And then basically that will then go down and then out somewhere. I guess maybe we can get out to the outside world down there. So again, these all got to be done before we finally fit the last headlining. But anyway, let's see if we can get that fitting anywhere. Alright, it's a bit hard to see, but we're getting there. We're trimming it down. It's sort of delaminating anyway. You can see what the guy recovered it. I'm just trying to figure out how it all clips in. I think I can get away with using the middle light again. I've removed the actual light bracket on that side to make, so we're definitely not using the mini one now. I drilled out the spot welds. But yeah, it's getting there. I think I will. Well, we'll see about recovering it. We mostly will. I don't know what we'll do, but I will go collect the daughter now. So, yeah, knackered. Okay, I've left my microphone at home. Well, at home somewhere because I've lost it because I've already checked for it. I thought it was here and it's not here. Anyway, we're back. We're going to try and wrap this video up because even if it don't work, the problem we've got at the moment is the brake master. It's brand new. But I don't think it's bled properly. I shouldn't have bled the front first. You should always bleed the backs first on minis, and anyway, read the instructions. But basically, I'm not getting any fluid out the rear brake system port. It's a front port on the master cylinder we're looking at here, but it's actually for the rears. So I borrowed Pete Mate's bleeder. I'm gonna try and suck some fluid through and see if we can get it through, because we're not doing anything else until that works. So that's what we're gonna get on with. Let's see if we can get some fluid out. Sit rep, a smile, finally. I'd like to tell you what I exactly did and how to fix it, but I don't know. I tried using the sucker thing at the back. It's a bit tricky with the bleed nipples on the back because they sort of like suck in air before they, the way it works. But I was getting a bit of fluid out of one side, which was a benefit, but it still wasn't. And I was hitting the brakes and I could see the rear's not operating still. So I took the master off, thinking maybe I'd left something on properly, like a cap or something. And took it over to the outside of the garage, gave it a squeeze, held the front brake exit port, and then squirted out the front port, which was for the rear brakes. I'm like, okay, well, the master's working. Get it back on there, fill it up with fluid. Let's just bleed the backs first, like you're supposed to do. And they seem to have bled. And I now got pedal at the back, and I can hear and see the brake slaves moving. So we'll give the fronts a quick bleed and see if we can find anything else just to finish this video off, which makes me feel happier. But then, to be honest, it's happy getting the brakes working. So yeah, if you come here to find out how to fix the brakes, go look at somebody else's video, because I don't know how I did it. Okay, I'm leaving the headline in for a bit. I've started trimming it a bit and over trimmed it, under trimmed it. I think it'll work. I can get it to work. I'm going to reinforce it with a bit of fiberglass once I take it all off. But to take my mind off things, this is the bottom of the seat, of the driver's seat. And it came in like that, split. You were just falling straight through it. So, it's 45 quid for a new one. I thought, well, let's not pay that. We watch Gold Rush, we do. And they fix their conveyor belts using tabs. And then they use screws that they draw off. I'm going to try and use pop rivets. So I printed these. I can't remember if I did it in PLA or Pettiger. Will it last? Might last a season, mightn't it? Like they do on the conveyor belts. Wow, a bit Frankenstein-y, but I think Parker Schnabel would be fairly impressed with me. That's 45 quid saved. Let me know in the comments how long you think it's going to last. Pete Mate used big tie wraps on his. I feel his tie wraps may last a little bit longer. But I saved the springiness of the rubber. Alright, may put a little bit of duct tape over the top of that, just to, I don't know why, but there's a sponge that goes on top anyway. But anyway, we'll take that home, because we're cleaning the seats at home, but that's in another video or another time. Okay, just did a couple of little jobs on Marison's van. Come back. Let's play with the bonnet. I think we're going to try and find some self-tappers. I've got some stainless ones, but I don't know if they're small enough to put the black bonnet trim on, and then we can use this to then try and locate where we want that to go. Well, my black paint job's not the best, but that can easily be popped off and when you're done. I'll go back to Paul at some point and go, Paul, paint my black bits. Anyway, I think that looks quite smart. Apologise about the dust that comes on everything. That's what you get for building a concourse car, show car, in a farm shed. Okay, I think we're going to call it on this video. I didn't get the headlining done in this video. I do apologise. So if you're interested in the headlining process, please catch the next one. Thanks again for all my patrons and members for waiting for these videos. And yeah, and if you're watching this live in the future, hello, welcome if you're new as well. Follow along. If you want to catch up really quickly, become a Patreon or a YouTube member, and then you can see the links for the all the existing videos. If you can't wait, you can then unpatronize if you want to. Otherwise, just wait a week, and they'll come weekly. So yeah, I'm gonna go home, try and find some dinner. We've got a number plate holder that's finished, printed, that we're gonna try as well. That'll be the next video. We get the headlining done, and then hopefully we can get the windscreens in. Now we've got the brakes working, we can get the wheels back on, and get this thing for an MOT, hopefully. Still got to detail the engine bay. Honestly, we're 3rd, 4th of June. I was trying to do a deadline. There's a local car show I wanted to take it to and do the reveal with the daughter, not going, wow, surprise, on the 22nd. I think we've missed a boat on that. IMM's soon though, a couple of months after, so we should easily, let's not say that. We could aim for the IMM. And if not, we do a reveal before that if I get it done. And then she can hopefully take it to the IMM. If not, I'll take it to the IMM. But anyway, thanks for following along. Click subscribe, do all the great stuff, comment below. And yeah, let us know your brake problems you've always had.